Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this beautiful Mother's Day Sunday evening here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's lovely to have you for another episode of the Prime Time program. Thanks as always for stopping by and hanging out. If you're a mother, thank you so much for being here on Mother's Day. God knows what you're doing with your time. I hope that you're spending it in more productive ways than with us. And if you're a significant other to a mother, whether you're a father, a boyfriend, a baby daddy, whatever the case may be, hopefully you did your due diligence with your significant other so that you could spend a little time talking about some Titans rookie minicamp with us here this evening. We had a full weekend of rookie minicamp in the books for this new 2024 draft class, and we've got plenty of observations to get to. The most important things that we learned, the rookies who showcased their raw potential at their first practice action in two-tone blue. So we'll get to the positives, we'll get to some negatives, or just not even negatives, just things that I'm watching that I have general concerns about that they might be able to alleviate. They may be able to alleviate, they may not be able to, depending on how they go about filling the void that players left who departed this team in free agency or guys who have just kind of aged themselves out. There's a lot of fresh blood in the organization at a variety of different levels. And certainly we've talked about the instant impact that a bunch of these rookies can have. So we'll dive in. We got a little Sunday Funday for you at the end of the show, as is the custom. Like Bert doesn't get enough shine in his life, it's going to be all about Bert at the end of the show. God help us. But before we get to the end of the show, we have to start the show. And before we start the show, you got to share this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch, wherever you're hanging out with us. If you are hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share now to public. That's in the bottom left. If you're on YouTube, like, what is this? Mally W 8007 on YouTube, who says, Buck, you look like a Madden-generated character. Well, that's the nicest thing that anybody said to me, because one, that means that there's no wrinkles on my face. Shout out Canvas Skin for the Botox. Nay, not Botox, the Brotox that they stuck into my forehead and made this thing look like a damn ice rink, smooth as hell. But also because it means that I look youthful. I feel like the Madden characters should look youthful, so I'll take that as a compliment. Anytime somebody tells you look unreal, I think you should take that as a positive. Either way, we are going to dive into all of these things together. Share this show, like the video if you're on YouTube or Twitch. And if you're on either of those platforms, you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, it's perfect time because we're just starting to build up towards football season with rookie minicamp. We'll have this week off. We'll have veterans back in the building, not this week, but next for OTAs. And we've got, what the hell, Bert? We've got all kinds of good stuff to get into. Look at him throwing his hand up in the air. My bad. Oh, well, I do like the thing that he put in there that caused that little blip. So we will get to the end of the show, or we will get to that later in the program. Anyway, happy Mother's Day to all. So let's go ahead and get it started. By the way, if you're a mother and hanging out in the comment section, please identify yourself because, we have an overwhelmingly male and, knuckle dragging audience. God love you all. But, the fairer sex is always the better sex in terms of the fan engagement and how they typically comport themselves. So if you're a mom hanging out here with us tonight, make yourselves known. We'd like to wish you a happy Mother's Day throughout the course of the show. Karen O'Keefe says, I'm a mom. Well, happy Mother's Day, Karen. See, we'll keep it going throughout the course of this. It doesn't always have to be me yelling at you guys and neck veins and forehead veins popping out all over the place. Either way, we'll keep it moving. Let's start the show. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Sunday evening. If you're new to the program, I'm your host, Buck Rising, and I'm proud as always to wish you a happy Mother's Day, Tiffany Cockrell in the comment section. And I'm also proud as always to be presented to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. TrueMath Fitness, the first workout is free at truemathfitness.com, the best place to get your fitness goals achieved here in Middle Tennessee conveniently located in downtown Nashville in the Gulch, and Zen Sports, where we broadcast from the Zen Sports studio. Promo code ATOZTN that you see directly behind me. $100, up to $100 on your no danger first wager with that promo code at zensports.com. Okay, rookie minicamp. We've got it in the books, and now we're on to the future phases of this offseason program. We're going to start to mix the vets in. We'll start to see Will Levis throwing to Jaquan Jackson. We'll start to see Tavondre Sweat lined up with Jeff Simmons. We'll start to see DeAndre Hopkins working with Calvin Ridley, right? In real practice, or at least we'll get to see it in person, and then you guys will get to see it via social media. Klaus, either way, says, did Bert just teleport Buck? No, he's messing around with some video elements of Titans rookie minicamp that we're going to show you that were particularly exciting because, of course, this is a video format, so we have the ability to do all of those things. Looking around at the things that caught my attention the most, D-Good brings it up. JC, tough time against Bertha, Buck. So, who is Bertha, and why did JC Latham have a difficult time with it? Well, Bertha is not, she's a twin. Bertha and Olga are the two custom design. I don't even want to say custom design because they're patented, designed by your new offensive line coach. Not only is your new offensive line coach the greatest offensive line coach going in football right now, but the man actually has patents on sleds and offensive line practice technology that he himself has developed, gotten a patent for, and licensed to other teams to buy. Bill Callahan's brought his own offensive line equipment into the Titans facility, and it was pretty intriguing to go out there. For those of you who watched and listened to the 615 Sessions podcast that we did from the practice facility on Friday with Teron Davenport, you heard TD talk about the stretching routine. It's very, very different from what they did under Mike Vrabel. It's very specific. It's very methodical. It's about 20 minutes in length. It's pretty considerable, and a totally new set of, we'll call them toys for lack of a better term, that you see out there on the practice field, because this team and this staff is going to do a lot of different things than the previous regime, and we're going to get to see that in real time. Buck's phone just went off. Read it out loud. No, my phone did not go off. Did my phone go off? I didn't hear anything. Oh, really? My phone did go off. Who texted me? No, you know what? I'm not capitulating to that rule. That's a radio show rule. No, I will not read you. If this was the radio show, I would be obliged to play by those rules. But since my phone goes off on the primetime show all the time, what can you do? You can't help it. No, vibrations don't count. That thing stays buzzing, okay? I'm going to have an iPhone, what is that, an iPhone 15, iPhone 14, whatever it is. I'm going to have an apple-sized tumor on the side of my head by the time I'm dead and buried, because this thing is slowly eroding my health and well-being. Either way, we're going to keep it moving. Chris stresses, you almost fell for it, Buck. I almost got me, but just not today. Either way, we'll keep it moving. So JC Latham, Bertha, and Olga, okay? Bertha and Olga are the names of the sled. And the sled is something that is 380 pounds, that doesn't move. You cannot drive it unless you use the proper technique that Bill Callahan has developed to maximize the efficiency of the offensive lineman using it. So when you block it incorrectly, you will go vertically up with it. And so it's a stalemate. When the offensive lineman and defensive lineman go up, there's not forward progress. You're not moving the line of scrimmage as an offensive lineman. When you stalemate, you just stop, right? You stop in your tracks. The defensive lineman stops you in your tracks. That may work to your advantage. It may not, because you may be stuck in the gap that you're trying to clear somebody out of to allow the running back to make a play, or whatever the case may be, right? So looking at Bertha and Olga, JC Latham getting his first opportunity to test his mettle against them, and you're going to see how he got coached on it in real time, because even at 342 pounds against a 380-pound sled, JC Latham was unable to move this thing, and you'll see this guy. It's not for a lack of pure power and strength. This is a mountain of a human being. And JC Latham, even by his own admission, struggled with it. So we'll start with your Two Rivers Ford take. What about the Titans 2024 rookie class excites you the most? I think you're going to be pretty intrigued by my answer here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Two Rivers Ford Take is presented by Two Rivers Ford, quality American-made Ford vehicles at the South's most trusted Ford dealer, where you go for all your new non-specialty Ford vehicles sold below MSRP. Nobody puts you in a better position with your financing, with the car buying experience, and with a sales staff that is non-commissioned, which means they are not going to pressure you at all throughout the course of the car buying process. They're making a paycheck whether they sell you a car that day or not. Two Rivers is the best in the business, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet, or online at tworiversford.com. Okay, so what excites you most about this 2024 rookie class? Let me know in the comment section. It's probably, Bork says it's probably the first time he popped someone or something and it didn't move in like 10 years, talking about J.C. Latham. Yes, we'll get to that. Alex Saba, I think I pronounced that last name correctly, says Bertha and Olga sounds like German World War I weapons. Well, they may be nastier than the original Bertha and Olga, because I don't know if anything in World War I Germany weighed 380. Of course, they had tanks and things like that. Actually, did they have tanks in World War I? Yes, I should probably know that. Tanks in World War II, World War I. I would think World War I, but I'm not going to show my ignorance in terms of war history here on the primetime show. Either way, we're looking at a couple of different things, because it's not just Latham. We haven't really talked about Devondre Sweat. We're going to stretch this out throughout the course of the week. Some people saying James Williams, the 7th round pick out of Miami, is inside linebacker 2 by the end of the year. That's kind of crazy. Rishi says Cedric Gray is going to be exciting. He's looking forward to it, as is brother Chris Short on YouTube. Zach Lawrence says he's excited to see Big T Sweat on the defensive line. Yes, Devondre Sweat is going to be a menace, provided they can get him in the kind of physical condition that they expect him to be in. And that will, of course, be something that we monitor. In fact, it may just make an appearance by the end of the show. But I want you to see J.C. Latham against Bertha. I believe this was against Bertha, not Olga. And they are two very individual and very unique, nasty 380-pound sleds. So that's J.C. Latham, and that small little man with the giant calves that you see in the Titans blue ball cap is O-line Jesus, Bill Callahan. And Bill Callahan is somebody who is going to be directly tasked with the growth and the development of J.C. Latham, the 7th overall pick, who will play left tackle here in Tennessee. Rookie cornerback, says Bryn McNeil, is what people are excited about. Brownlee could also take CB2 spot by mid-October. Well, no, of course, that's ridiculous, because Brownlee's spot is best in the slot, and he's not CB2. No, he's not taking that from Chidobe Awuzie, who is best as an outside corner. Sure as hell not taking it from L'Jarius Sneed. If something to that effect has happened, something for your defense has gone terribly, terribly wrong, because Cheeto and L'Jarius Sneed are both here on long-term contracts. And if your rookie 5th-round pick beats either of those people out, then something or someone has shit the bed, David, and that's not something that you want to happen. So if you're thinking that, one, I don't know how you're making that assessment. Two, he would be competing for Roger McCreary's spot, not for Chidobe Awuzie or L'Jarius Sneed's spot. But we'll see how these things come to pass. Robert F. says, and asks a good question, a question that I don't necessarily have the answer to, Robert, because this is a funny point. Buck, how much does the sled normally weigh? Jags fans have been trolling on Twitter showing their new rookie off, and you used the incorrect there, Robert, but I'm going to let you off the hook because you asked me a question that I don't know the answer to. I don't know how much the sled normally weighs, but you can definitely look at this particular sled, and I'll put the video up in front of you again while I look to see if I can find the answer. You see how this sled is hunched over, right? Normally you see a sled that is, with the I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. So let's say that this is the sled, the 3 fingers are the sled, and the 2 out, the pinky and the thumb are the arm, right? Normally you see the sled almost not quite standing straight up, but just kind of standing at an angle, right, on the frame that the sled is connected to. Whereas Bill Callahan's sleds are in a loaded position, right? You'll look at the sled and see the dummy in a loaded position as if it's a defensive lineman who is getting ready to spring and put his hands into your chest. So Callahan's sled is physically different, and the weighting is different to account for that loaded position versus the slight angle that they're working at. And that's the thing that you're going to see here. I don't know if it's as much about the sled weight being more than your average sled, but I do think it's pretty interesting to understand the physics of it, because they're dealing with different counterweights that cause the thing to stall out if you don't block it correctly. Oop, I put Bird in there on accident. Thank God he wouldn't do anything or naked, because that's typically the case. So I just looked it up, and you watched that video of J.C. Latham going against Bertha, the specifically designed sled. And I looked it up. Now, this is just courtesy of RogersAthletic.com, and Rogers famously makes a lot of those single and 5-man blocking sleds. Rogers has the weight of their single-man sled at 324 pounds. Now, obviously, the difference between 324 pounds versus 380 pounds is significant, especially when you're dealing with anything north of 300 pounds. But you have to remember that the Rogers sled weighs less than J.C. Latham. The Callahan sled weighs more than J.C. Latham and is also structured at a different angle. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that improves just all of the offensive line technique that you see, how guys like NPF and Radens, who have been working with different offensive line coaches, adjust, and how much better it makes J.C. Latham as he continues to work through it. Now, is that the thing that I'm most excited about? I might say yes. I have been very intrigued by this coaching staff, and it's not just to one specific player. So what about the Titans 2024 rookie class excites you? I'm going to tell you why. My answer is not even the rookies themselves, but the coaches who are going to be working with them, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is presented by TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrueMavFitness.com for your first workout free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, no workout ever recycled or repeated. At TrueMav, they are there to better you each and every day and find different ways to maximize your fitness goals specific to the individual. And that's not just with their personal training sessions, although their personal training is excellent. I go to Arm Farm Fridays. You guys know this. If you ever want to see me at TrueMav, I'm there 7 a.m. on Fridays with Worth and the crew. But you can also go for the group fitness classes, and they are still customized for every level of fitness while allowing for you to make the individual adjustments that you need to best put yourself in position to succeed, because we're not all built the same. We don't all have the same level of fitness or lung capacity or musculature or whatever the case may be. And TrueMav recognizes that and wants to get the best version of you. So try your first workout free at TrueMavFitness.com, and you will see the results for yourself today. I think that looking at a couple of different things that excite me, it's more the coaching staff than it is the players. Now, the players are going to be an extension of the coaching staff, but in talking to guys like Bill Callahan, like Tracy Rocker, and hearing the feedback from other players, not just rookies, but vets who are getting the opportunity to work with these individuals, you see a lot of exciting potential that is going to be brought out. And just the crowd for somebody like Bill Callahan, O-line Jesus, who we heard from for the first time, I believe this was on Thursday.
It's great to be here with Brian, my son, and this staff that Brian's put together. it's exciting. It's exciting times. So, yeah, everything's been very positive so far. We haven't played a game yet, so we're undefeated.
And we heard a team that moved a guy from a right to a left tackle in the past. I know. What are the biggest challenges, and kind of what makes you think JC is a good guy in terms of getting?
Yeah, I think number one, his athleticism, and then of course all the measurable traits that he has, and then you add in size, power, strength, and it adds up, to making that move. Very similar. In my experience at Dallas, when I had Tyron Smith when I came into the Cowboys, he was a right tackle in college. He was a right tackle his rookie year, and we flipped him over. And I think that worked out pretty well. And then Jedrick Wills, when he was drafted out of Alabama for the Browns, was a right tackle in college. We flipped him. Another guy in my past was Barry Sims from the Raiders. He was a tackle out of Utah, who we found in the World League at that time, which no longer exists. But he ended up making that switch to left tackle as well. So I think if you have the athleticism, and you have strength, I think, and you have the muscle memory to, change some skill sets, I think it's doable.
You have any doubts about his ability to do it?
I don't.
What do you see in the right tackle candidates that are here on the roster right now in terms of, Nicholas Petit-Ferrer and Jalen Duncan and Watson, who you coached in Cleveland?
Well, they're all here. They're all working hard. I think to begin with in spring, when you're coming into a new system, new coaches, I'm just evaluating, assessing, trying to help these guys learn a whole new, different toolbox than they're accustomed to. I think they're exceptional hard workers, and that's great. That's a good start for us. But then how it plays out, I think we'll wait. I'll kind of be a little bit more reserved on my judgment until we get into training camp and we get a chance to see them in the preseason.
So that is offensive line Jesus, your new offensive line coach, Bill Callahan, speaking on his work so far, and J.C. Latham at left tackle and the candidates at right. You're going to hear from J.C. Latham here in just a second. Right after I remind you that the Primetime program is presented by the great people at Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN, get up to $100 on your no danger first wager. If your first bet loses, you'll be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to $100. And there's even more good news, because Zen Sports offers a one-of-a-kind VIP rewards program that if you qualify for, you'll earn monthly comps at sporting events, concerts, you name it, even sportsbook bonuses. Zen Sports, where betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions do apply. No danger wager limited to plus 500 odds to qualify. Boosted odds are derived from equivalent parlay bets offered in Tennessee. Must be 21 plus and in Tennessee to bet at Zen Sports. Promo code ATOZTN. So MB says, I have an O-line coach, ? Yes, you do have an O-line coach. And it's not that you have an O-line coach. You have the O-line coach, which is very, very exciting for you. And exciting for a guy like J.C. Latham, who is going to put a lot of work in under Bill Callahan. Bill Callahan is certainly of an advanced age, and I don't know how long he's going to want to do this job or be interested in continuing to coach offensive line. He seems to relish the opportunity, seems to continue to enjoy it. He talked to us earlier, or I guess later in that media scrum, where he said, I could be doing anything right now. I could be on a golf course. Instead, I'm out here trying to help the Titans win a championship, is what he said. And that, of course, got all the love and all the headlines. But you want to hear from your first-round pick, J.C. Latham, not just on Bill Callahan, but on the sled that Callahan invented.
A lot of areas to improve in, the speed of the game and just, being ready to go every single play. But yeah, no, it was really fun. I really enjoyed myself.
Coach was telling us about the adjustment all the linemen make to that sled when they get on it for the first time. How different is it to what you're used to, and what's it like to figure it out? Yeah,
it's 380 pounds. At Bama, we have a sled similar to it, not exactly like that, but we just put our coaches on it. So it's kind of, the same in that sense, but it really emphasizes technique. On my first rep where he wanted us to move it, I shot out my hips and kind of got it straight up. And if you get it straight up, you're not going to move it as a D lineman. It'll be a stalemate. So you really kind of got to gradually drive as you rise with your hips. So that's something that I was learning as I went. But I really emphasize technique though.
I know you talked.
So that's J.C. Latham speaking about the sled, and then later speaking about Bill.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. So okay, I just realized.
Oh, you're good.
Callahan.
Yeah.
So let me I'll go back to that
Yeah.
question. As Coach Callahan, he's very, very intricate with the detail of the work, and he'll let you know if you had a bad rep, he'll just tell you your rep sucked. And then, but if you did good, he'll let you know you did good. He'll show you areas to improve in, and he's really intricate. Even in the meetings, he'll show us the film and what it should look like, how it's supposed to be done. He'll talk to us about it, and then he'll even just grab random guys and be like, "Hey, all right, let me see you do this, do that." He grabbed me earlier when we were in the meeting, and we were going over our stance, and I was in my stance for like 2 minutes. So he was trying to show us and show me like how to keep the knee bend and the weight distribution and all that. But yeah, he's a great coach. I totally missed the question. My bad.
How tough is it?
So that is J.C. Latham, the Titans' first-round pick, speaking about Bertha, the sled, and his new O-line coach, Daddy, Bill, who he, of course, did not say, but it was just funny to see some of the photographs coming out of practice from my buddy George Walker, who does the photography for the Tennesseans specifically, but it goes to the entire USA Today network, which, of course, A to Z Sports has access to. And I was looking through some of the pictures that George took. George had a great picture of Bill with his hands in his hoodie pocket, walking with his head down a little bit, and J.C. Latham, giant J.C. Latham, trailing behind him. And I took the picture, posted it on Twitter, credited George, of course, and said a father and his son, because that is exactly who this person is going to be. He's going to be closer to him than J.C. Latham's father is for the next couple of months and potentially for the next couple of years as they try to turn Latham into the best possible left tackle for the Tennessee Titans' sake at this point. So we've talked about positives. Let's talk, I don't know, Bert. What do you think? Do you want to save some of the concerns about the rookies for another night and just do Sunday Funday now? I feel like, we're already coming up on the half-hour point. We've got certainly a long week to talk Titans football without any practices. We may just roll into Sunday Funday right now. So I think we should do that, and we'll save the concerns for a later date, and we'll flesh it out with a larger show here throughout the course of the week, because like I said, we've got a lot of Titans subjects to get to. You'll hear from Tracy Rocker. T'Vondre Sweat also spoke to us. I think we're going to dedicate an entire show to Cedric Gray and that defense and how much rookie impact it stands to see in year one. We'll do that in just a second, right after I remind you that the primetime program is presented. Bork says, Buck trying to get out of work early. No, I think we've got a lot to talk about. Or we've got a lot to work with, and I don't necessarily think that we need to do it all tonight. Listen, Bork, I got 3 hours of talk radio, 30 to 45 minutes of streaming show, and 2 podcasts a week just about your damn football team, all right? If I need to stretch some content out, you're going to work with me here a little bit, okay? Bert is going, well, you know what? Ironically enough, this is pretty timely, because Bert just texted me and says his power went out. Give me 10 minutes. And Bert is the only person that has access to the video that we need for Sunday Funday. So lucky for you, what that means is we're going to do the second topic anyway, even though we're 30 minutes into the show, because I need, oh no, Bert just came back into view. This is hilarious. Bert has been you dealing with power outages back. Do you want to come on the camera and explain yourself? Or you would panic trying to figure out? No, he just shook his head at me violently, trying to figure out what on earth is going on back there. Bert almost allowed for a longer show, but popped back into the chat just in time to get me the video that I need for Sunday Funday, which is what he has just uploaded. And so we will continue to do the topic. Jared says, Buck, you're not a boomer. Learn to click the buttons. No, Jared, why would I do this shit myself when we have people that we pay to do it for me, which is not to treat Bert like the help exactly, but Bert is paid to help me. So yes, I would prefer to relegate those things to other people rather than to have to do them myself. I don't have to live that way anymore, Jared, and we're very happy for it. So with that said, Sunday Funday is what we will end with, and we will talk more about Cedric Gray, T'Vondre Sweat, and the rest of the rookie class later in the week. The question for you is, what was the best thing that you saw in sports this weekend? On Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and on Twitch. We'll talk about it together right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com is where you go for your dream address without the stress. The Intel Edge is where you go, or is how you succeed, and you can only get that Intel Edge with GaryAshton.com. Gary, the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators and of the Primetime Show, the main man, Gary Ashton. Bork says, Buck, quote, push the button for me, peasant. It's what I pay you for. Well, I'm not in charge of payroll. It's what Austin pays everybody for. But Bert is much more than just a button pusher. Bert is also, timely comedic relief, which is my Sunday Funday, because God help me, Bert provided probably one of the, if not the best moment of the live show podcast on not this past Friday, but the previous Friday, with Rand Carthon and Greg Cosell. If it wasn't the best moment of the live show, it was certainly top 2. And I'll let you decide for yourself to see just how much you enjoy the idea of Bert getting Rand to cook live. Now, I don't know about this individual in front of this microphone. What the hell?
This is Angelo from Antioch. What's going on, Rand?
Love the stash.
What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
You're not a part of this.
What do you mean?
I don't know any Angelo from Antioch.
All right, you got me. It's Bert. I produce Ramon, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
Round of applause.
I thought it was Raleigh Fingers.
I don't know who the hell that
Stop it.
is. He's already got too much shine.
Rand, before I get to ask this question, which I did donate $100. It was from Buck's phone about 32 minutes ago.
Do another 100 for me.
Oh, what the hell? Hey,
from Buck's phone.
No problem. I know the passcode. Before we get started, I'm not Oprah, but I do want you to reach under your chair because there is a gift for you in there.
What have you done?
You just
that's kind of weird.
Just reach under the chair.
I mean, you were interviewing grown men in a towel about free agents. Like, I don't think it gets much.
Pull that bad boy down.
Out weird.
What is that? That is a chef hat, my friend, because you have been cooking this off season. Give it up for Rand Carthon!
How about that?
That's my dude right there. That's my dude right now. All right, so I paid $100, so I'm going to ask...
You didn't pay a damn thing.
Okay, so Buck paid $100, so I'm going to ask a very important question, and I know you probably thought there's going to be a bunch of softballs tonight, but...
Nah, let's do it.
I had to get right to it. If you were evaluating Buck Rising as a draft prospect, what would your evaluation be?
The first I would start with character reject. So we take him off the board and he wouldn't be draftable for us.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're not taking the PJ to Evansville, Indiana, go do some vetting?
I think we got all the background we need on Buck to not draft.
It's unbelievable. So that's Rand Carthon, Bert, and Greg Cosell, and me on stage at the live show. The full video, so we've got it up in 3 parts on the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel, the hour and a half, I think it was north of 2-hour podcast that we did with Greg, with Rand, and with 300 plus of you guys in the house. If you haven't subscribed to 104.5 The Zone on YouTube yet, you need to do it because I've got a lot of cool stuff there. So do my coworkers who do the other 3 shows on the radio station. We obviously have a partnership, or A to Z Sports has a partnership with 104.5 The Zone because of, I don't want to say because of me, but because I work for both companies. We have a collaborative effort with both companies. So it was a really, really cool event. And A to Z obviously was very involved. We had some great film assets of the breakdowns from James Foster, who you guys know is A to Z Sports Film Room, which is also on the A to Z Sports. So it was a cool night where basically all the people that I work for and work with to come together with Rand Carthon and a bunch of Titans fans and have a great time. So if you want to check out the live show yourself, if you haven't already, it was electric. If you've seen one part, but not, if you've seen part 1, but not part 2, or if you've seen part 3, but not part 1, go subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the videos while you're there, and make sure that you tune into the radio show tomorrow because it will be live streamed from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. That's going to do it for me tonight. But again, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll cover a lot of ground tomorrow on the radio show, a lot of stuff that we weren't even able to get to here, just about Bill Callahan and J.C. Latham. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, including my badass of a mother, who is the biggest flex that I have in life. And we will talk to you, if not tomorrow morning at 10, tomorrow night, about 7 p.m. Central Time. We do another episode of the Primetime Show. See you guys.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville! Go home!